So Vienna is the second place that I ever venture by myself. I did this trip before I met the girls in Croatia for the bachelorette, and honestly, it was magical because I love traveling with friends and having company, and you get all this rich experiences from the other person. I also got to see a lot of things that I wanted to see, and Vienna was one of my. I actually had planned to go to Vienna when I was studying abroad in 2018, and that didn't materialize for some reason. So when I got to do it this time, I was like, I'm gonna enjoy it to the maximum. And for me, that involves waking up early and doing back to back to back things, and I don't think I could have done that with my friends who I love, but I don't think they would be interested in going to all these museums and just being at home, never, like being outside most of the time. So yeah, I'm very grateful that I got to do this. There were a few times where I was a little bit self-conscious about being by myself, but the more I spend time on my own and I go to museums and cafes and the theater and movies and just spend so much time on my own, I've just have come to enjoy it. I mean, I've, I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but I guess if you don't really enjoy spending some time with yourself, then how can you enjoy spending time with other people? How can people enjoy maybe spending time with you if you don't nurture what you love and value? So this was a wonderful trip, and I'm hoping that I get to go back to the city because there are a few other places that I didn't get to see. I was also struck by how organized the city is. The transportation is impeccable. I mean, New York. No, I mean, there's not even comparison to New York. They really have an amazing transportation, very clean, very organized. Everything's very accessible, very easy to navigate. I loved it. I mean, as a fan of public transportation, they get my vote. They are the number one on my list, and it's just such an organized city that I really admire. I really admire it. I would love to live there if it wasn't for a few other factors, which I won't discuss. But yeah, magical city. Am I recording? Okay. So I just bought this camera. Well, not just bought. I bought it for like 2 months ago. No, 2 weeks ago. But I've been so busy with work that it just kind of has. I've been procrastinated, and I was going on this trip. First, I'm in Vienna right now, and I'm basically doing on my own a solo trip before I go with my friends for a bachelorette. It's 7:30. I should go downstairs for breakfast. I'm in a hotel, and then I'm gonna go to the two things. I should know this stuff, but I guess I don't because I'm not in culture. The Schönbrunn Palace. What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to cafes, get some lunch, go to museums, go to the library, maybe shop, obviously cafes, all that stuff. And I think I'm gonna be recording. I don't know how it's gonna go because honestly it's my first day using the Fujifilm or any camera. I guess it's always been with my phone. I want to start figure it out, and if I fuck up, I fuck up, and that's all. Yeah, it's gonna be a full fucking day. I have it here. I went on a tour yesterday. A walking tour at night, and this lady said that my plan was very ambitious, so we'll see what happens today. Okay. So chill to just walk around here. Like it's, I don't know, it's just so peaceful and so relaxing. There's like not a lot of people. It's actually a big garden, I think. So I don't know how much I'll explore, but yeah, it feels bigger than Central Park, I think. Let's talk about one of the most famous figures in Austria's history, and that is Empress Elizabeth, who was tall, slim, but known for her beauty. But there was also a darker side to her, and it was that she was battling a few internal battles such as depression and an obsession with her own weight. She would make her staff install gyms everywhere she would go, and some people think that she was even bulimic. She would also sleep very little and would read and write all night if she could, and would took up smoking at some point, which is a rare thing for a woman at that point. Some of the films that I'll discuss later picture her relationship with her husband Franz Joseph as a fairy tale, but the reality is that they were distant, or at least she was distant from him and would never see him. She also never raised her children, giving them to her mother-in-law. But she also played a pivotal role in bringing Austria and Hungary together. In 1898, she was assassinated by an Italian anarchist, which is something that the films never touch. The film Corset from 2022 uses a lot of biographical facts about Empress Elizabeth with some fictional aspects to it. But I was taken aback by this scene, which takes place in the Schubrum's gardens, and it's a scene where Elizabeth is happy riding a horse with her lady-in-waiting, and I thought it was interesting that this gardens bring her joy, and it's one of those few moments where she's actually letting go of everything that she carries, all her depressions, her distant relationship with her children and her husband, and she's actually enjoying herself. And it also has a little bit of a queer tonality to it, but I can never tell. It's more up to the viewer to decide what they're sensing from the scene. Update, I ran out of battery, so I'm gonna have to, it's the first time I'm using the camera, so I think next time I'm gonna buy another battery just to have, which I saw some people doing, but I guess it's real. It really does run out really fast. Going up the hill. It's kind of gloomy today, but I mean, I don't mind this weather compared to New York, so anything's better. Going up the hill. Got my sunglasses. Try to look. They look pretty good to PH. So after World War II, there was a trilogy of films named Sissi that were released about Empress Elizabeth, which I touched upon a little bit earlier in the video. The films depict very clear-cut morals and a world untouched by conflict, which I guess at that time it was very comforting to watch after just going through World War II. It also offered a sanitized version of Empress Elizabeth, which at the time it will help bolster the self-image of Austria. In the second film of the trilogy from 1956, Sissi is trying to adapt into her new life as an empress in Austria. Her mother-in-law, Archduchess Sophie, adheres very much to all the protocols and court etiquette and doesn't think Sissi is experienced enough to be in that position. When she has a child, she offers to take the child away to raise her away from Sophie, who she thinks is young and inexperienced. When the film ventures outside of the soundstage, it shows beautiful Vienna in Technicolor, and we can see the Schönbrunn Palace in all of its splendor. However, it does sort of play as a cage for Sissi in this film, but it's beautiful to look at. I think anything in Technicolor looks even more astounding, and it also reminds me of The Sound of Music, even though it doesn't take place in Vienna. It takes place in Salzburg. It's also part of Austria, and it fits into this specific time in film where we loved seeing all this sort of fairy tale places becoming, being real life, because there are sort of like the settings for fairy tales, but in real life. There is a small fun, well, not fun, but maybe deadly fact about this trilogy, and it involves the two leads who both passed away on May 29, which is my birthday. And obviously this is very egocentric of me, but I was just like shocked to see that both, I mean, they passed away in different years, but to both passed away on May 29, there had to be a connection there. And I'm not saying that connection is with me. That goes beyond me. It's strange, that they passed away on the same day, just different years. I don't know. I believe a lot in numerology, so. I just bumped into a colleague from work. It's funny because I realized that she was going to travel to Vienna. She was going to travel the same day but on a different flight. But we didn't realize that we were both coming, because I said I was going to go to a bachelor trip in Croatia,
So, you know, it's just really funny that we both decided to come to Vienna on the same date and like from the same team. And we're not, you know, we're not a big team. So that's how life works. Okay, so now I'm going to a restaurant. I think it's Asian. Trying to find something more vegetarian friendly. It's kind of quaint. You know, just like a normal neighborhood, I guess. It does feel a little bit like Eastern Europe-ish, I guess. Guys, I just went to this restaurant. It's called Bevy, and it's like all vegan. And the lady was so nice. We chatted a little bit, the owner, and she gave me like a sweet, like a nice sweet for free. Like she was just like, we chatted a little bit, and like she asked me where I was from, and I was saying New York, and she just gave me sweet. It was so sweet. Sweet. That meal gave me like energy. I don't know. I think I was lacking sodium or something, because it just made my headache go away. And I had breakfast this morning, but that didn't make my headache go away. So I don't know. Here we go.
So this topic is not about films in any way, but it's something that I wanted to touch on, and it's something that I sort of address a little bit in the Mexico video, but I want to expand on it, and that is the El Penacho de Montezuma. Well, we cannot confirm that Montezuma actually wore this feather headdress, but it is significant to the cultural history of Mexico, and it should be in Mexico, not in a colonizing European nation. Am I right? It is most likely that the headdress came from Hernán Cortés following the Spanish conquest, and he forwarded to Emperor Charles V. There was an episode in Radio Ambulante in which a group of activists went into the museum and furtively exchanged the audio tour guide with one that had a tape in which it provided more context about how this headdress really belonged to Mexico and not Austria. Former Mexican President Obrador pushed really hard to get back the headdress.
Una actitud muy prepotente de el gobierno de Austria. En los últimos tiempos han argumentado o pretextado de que no se puede mover porque se destruye. Es algo que no tiene sustento, consideramos nosotros. La verdad es que no lo quieren entregar.
He even had a meeting with his cultural minister and the Austrian president, which went very badly. Claudia Sheinbaum has also voiced her interest in getting the Panacho back. Austria won't budge. Austria's argument is that the headdress is actually very fragile to transport. However, a few engineers have argued that the technology exists for the headdress to be restituted back to Mexico. I will comment that when I was there, and I went on a regular day, there were a few Mexicans visiting this museum just to see the headdress. I mean, I can't imagine having to go to another country to see something that is part of your cultural history. I mean, that is insane that we're doing this in 2026. And it's also interesting that the museum acknowledges that they're doing this. I mean, there's a video in which they play on a loop in which they're saying, yes, this is not really ours. We shouldn't have this kind of artifact with us, but we do. And we don't care because, you know, we like to have it. We like to own it because it makes us unique. So I do hope at some point someone in the museum's organization or the committee decides to give back the headdress to Mexico. And maybe that will come with our generation. I don't know.
I am camping here. I was gonna go to the café Hoover, and I just realized that it's closed. I'm just camping here in the corner of this place, plotting where I'm gonna go next. We'll see. As you can see, it's closed. I mean, everything on Sunday is closed, sadly. Whoops. So I didn't get to see the Schubert, whatever it is. And everything else is closed after 6, so I'm thinking about going to see the wheel thing, which I'm a fan, and you know, it's part of this big movie, the Third Man. So I'm thinking about going to see that after, and yeah, just go to cafes or something. Honestly, whatever is open, because I don't know. It's Sunday, so it's kind of like it's supposed to be very Catholic country, so a lot of things are closed. But I'm not surprised. I mean, it's Europe anyway. And then yeah, that's all. Hopefully it stops raining soon. Oh God. I was just gonna stay here until it stops raining. Those people are venturing into the rain, but I'm not doing that.
One of the theories of philosopher and sociologist Jürgen Habermas is that coffee houses and salons helped build the foundation of liberal enlightenment in the 17th and 18th century. And he writes in this New Yorker article from 2018, a caffeinated pathway out of a clan society into cosmopolitan society. Democracy was not made in the streets, but among the saucers. And even though a writer will come in and take a chair and a table and sit there for a few hours with just a cup of coffee, it was better for coffee houses to sell 100 cups of coffee to one person, one writer, than to sell 100 cups of coffee to 100 different writers, because that 100-cup man or woman will come in for another 100 and another 100. Repeat business is worth more than new business.
Tiene una relación estrecha con ellos. Qué bonito.
Vienna Riesenrad. It opened in 1987, it has survived 2 wars, and it once faced demolition in 1916 during the World War I. It was saved because the owner paid off his debt. It also faced some damage during World War II, with some of the cabins being burned down. From 1920 to 1985, it was the tallest Ferris wheel in all the world. It is a symbol of Vienna, and it featured in one of my favorite movies about Vienna, The Third Man. In the film The Third Man, an American writer arrives to post-war Vienna to reunite with his friend Harry Lime, only to find out that he is dead. As he keeps exploring the city, he finds out that nothing about this city or his friend is what it seems. And in this particular scene, Harry Lime is trying to convey his worldview, his ruthlessness for doing such thing, that there are no heroes in the real world and that one should just be looking after oneself. No one else matters. And that is especially conveyed in this line that he says, "In Italy for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, and bloodshed. But they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love, 500 years of democracy and peace. And what did that produce? The cuckoo clock?" Oh my god, I'm so tired. Literally. What time is it? I can't see my watch. 10, 11? Okay. Great. Calling it today. Calling it for the day. Okay. Fuck. I look tired as fuck. Morning. Okay, so I just showered. Today's my second day. Finally, I think. Finally, I was able to charge this camera because I was outside the whole day yesterday. I did 29,000 steps. Today is also another ambitious day here. I do want to hit a lot of different things, hopefully. So it will be the San what? Not just some basic fucking tours, maybe I am. St. Stephen's Cathedral, yes. Malter House, Sigmund Freud's Museum, Belvedere Museum. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff. I had the Ferris wheel thing, but I did it yesterday anyway. Yeah, I think that's it. I do want to go to a bookstore, and I do need to be here before 7 so I can do something work related. Otherwise it's gonna be a difficult. Anyway, and I do want to hit some cafes because I only went to one yesterday and I was kind of annoying. I don't know, it wasn't that pleasant of a of a cafe experience, so I want to go somewhere else and see. I want to go at least to two. Yeah, it's also because I don't know. I mean, the sweets are okay, but having too much sweet on just one single day, I think it's too much for me. Maybe. And also, coffee is too much for me. I try to have the melange and the milk stuff, but I'm just gonna stick with Americanos because I just like black coffee. I tried the melange already, and I tried all the other ones. I'm okay. You know, I don't have to try everything. So yeah, I think that's gonna be today. So enjoy. Before Antonio Salieri passed away in 1985, there was a story perhaps a rumor that he had poisoned Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And this story or rumor took a life of its own by Alexander Pushkin writing a play about this seeming rivalry that happened between them, casting Mozart as this genius and Salieri as this jealous schemer. And there were several other iterations about the story. It became a short opera, and then in 1979, Peter Shaffer wrote a play, which was then adapted into the 1984 Best Picture winner Amadeus. It so happens that the New Yorker also wrote about this, and they said that to call Salieri the patron saint of mediocrities, as Shaffer does in his play, sets the bar for mediocrity too high. Salieri's operas are toneful, excellently crafted, inventive in their orchestration, and sometimes startlingly progressive in outlook. The article also states that Amadeus and Salieri were colleagues and rivals, and that it was sometimes complicated by Mozart's tendencies to see plots arrayed against him. What really happened is that in the 1820s, Salieri's health and mind began to fail, and gossip spread around Vienna that he had poisoned Mozart and had attempted suicide himself. Two medical orderlies that attended Salieri testified that he had said no such thing. And on one of his clearest days, Salieri came out and denied the rumors himself, saying, "Tell the world that old Salieri, who will die soon, told you so." So there are two other facts that connect all this together. One is that on his deathbed, Mozart said, "Surely I have been given poison. I cannot let go of this thought." And the other one is that the early 19th century saw the rise of nationalism in German-speaking countries. The New Yorker writes that Salieri was typecast as a foreign interloper, an Italian intrigant, and this is even seen in Leopold Mozart's letters to his son.
Okay, so now I'm going to Freud's house. It's pretty sunny today, which is great. Oh my god, what is this?
What struck me about the Freud Museum is how little there is of him, except for the white walls. the empty spaces. Freud lived and worked 47 years in this space. He wrote The Interpretation of Dreams, and he invented the psychoanalytic couch here. What makes this museum haunting is what's missing. Freud took all of his belongings, including the couch, to London. So the absence of all of his stuff is deliberate. It was Nazi oppression. Either he left or he'd be killed. So I think it's interesting that this museum sits at the intersection of intellectual history, exile, trauma, and that ultimately it is Freud's ideas which have outlived him and which very much are still very present today. One of the most famous paintings is The Kiss, and it is a man and a woman embracing in this, maybe it's very touching because it makes you feel like they love each other but they cannot be together in a way. So it gives you a vibe that it might be like Orpheus and Eurydice in a way, you know, that they love each other madly but they cannot be together. And it's also referenced in Martin Scorsese's film Shutter Island, in which Leonardo DiCaprio is embracing Michelle Williams' character. So speaking about Klimt, there's also a footnote that involves the famous painting The Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer, and how there was this whole restitution case with Maria Alma trying to recover the painting from Austria. And it is portrayed in the film Woman in Gold with Helen Mirren. The story tells that Ferdinand Bloch-Bauer, a famous banker and sugar producer, commissioned a painting from Klimt. He wanted to give Adele's parents this portrait. Adele was a significant cultural figure in Vienna. She would frequently host these art salons, using her social status to support Austrian artists like Klimt. Adele died in 1925 at the age of 44 of meningitis. In her will, she stated that she wanted all the Klimt paintings to go to the Belvedere Gallery. All of the Klimt's paintings belonging to the Bloch-Bauer family were stolen by the Nazis in 1938. And in 1945, Ferdinand passed away in exile, In his will, he stated that all of his estate, including all of his paintings, were to go to his heirs. When Maria Ullmann was 82, she learned that all of the paintings were rightfully hers. So there was a whole legal battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and in 2005 the paintings were restituted to her. Most of the film Woman in Gold is sort of accurate, except for the fact that it was more the investigative journalists who tipped Maria Ullmann about the paintings and how they were rightfully hers. One thing I will mention is that after the Nazis acquired the painting, they renamed it Woman in Gold to conceal the Jewish identity of the original poser for the painting.
Here I am after hours and hours of stimulation. I haven't eaten anything since breakfast, so I'm gonna get some shots from this all over the place. I don't wanna leave without it, and then I'm gonna stuff myself to death.
So if there is a film that you have to watch before you go to Vienna, I would say it's Before Sunrise. It's the first part of the Before trilogy, which is essentially 3 films about a relationship. And in this one, it's where the main characters, the American and the Parisian girl, meet and on this train to Vienna and then decide to spend, I believe is almost a whole day together around Vienna, just wandering around. And in the film, there's a scene that takes place in the evening where these 2 characters go to Klein's café and encounter a fortune teller. I have to admit that I was self-censoring myself as I was editing this video, and there was a part where I complained about the service at the cafes in Vienna. And I do want to hit some cafes because I only went to one yesterday and I was kind of annoying because the waiter was like fucking rude. It was just like, I don't know, maybe it's just the way it happens here and maybe I'm just being annoying. But he just kept doing this, like, I'm like, what do you want from me? And like, he didn't speak English, I didn't speak German, so it was kind of hard to communicate. But it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't that pleasant of a cafe experience, so I want to go somewhere else and see. And then I was reading a little bit more about that, and it said there is a kind of brusque culture to that, which Viennese people enjoy. They well, I don't know if they enjoy, but maybe they take appreciation to that kind of curt, grumpy service, which is like, And so in this video that I cut, because I did not want it to come up as a, as I've seen a lot of videos lately where a lot of not that I am an influencer, but a lot of people who go and do all this travel blogs, they start complaining about the local people, the service, the terrible, everything, so I did not want it to add that kind of uninformed critique and the spoiled American kind of perspective, which everyone outside of the US might have. So yeah, but it was interesting to read about it. It means blunt, curt, or abrupt manner, the kind of service where the waiter doesn't particularly go out of their way to make you feel warmly welcome, won't engage in small talk, and might seem indifferent or even a little impatient, which I had twice. Not rude exactly, but not warm either. It's actually a well-known trait of traditional Viennese coffee house culture more broadly. There's even a local term for it, which I will not even bother to pronounce, which I'll put here, which roughly captures the dry, deadpan, sometimes sardonic manner that Viennese service staff are famous for. Regulars tend to find it charming and authentic, tourists sometimes find it off-putting. And it's interesting because after my first cafe experience, I decided to just venture into another one, to just keep trying. And I went to Klein's Cafe, sorry if I'm butchering the name, and the service was a-okay. It was kind of the same. It was kind of like the same grumpy, you know, not very warm service. And yeah, I think I was kind of disappointed by it, but I understand that that's the culture of it, that it comes with it. But I think maybe it's just because I am a very anxious person, and especially in that years back, I feel like I was more of a people pleaser, so I always kind of want to like the people. I don't care anymore, or as much as I used to, but I think that kind of feeds into that, and maybe it's just my ego part speaking. But yeah, it was kind of the same kind of treatment, so I can confirm that it's something in the environment. It's something that happens very much in Vienna.
Hello again. I'm just gonna pack. I don't know what I'm gonna wear tomorrow. Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm gonna figure it out. This is me right now. My mom will be so proud to see all this array. I don't fucking know what this is. Anyway, okay, so good night. See you tomorrow. Morning. I just woke up. It's 6 a.m. I'm gonna shower, make some coffee, and head out to the airport. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say right now. Now the question is, where do I put this?
I wanted to try one of the that I got from the breakfast buffet yesterday morning. I mean, it's not Austrian cafe, but it'll do this morning.
Okay, I'm ready. This feels heavier than the last time. Oh. seems like I got everything. Hopefully. Yep. Bye. Bye place. Bye Vienna. Thank you for the memories.